Hi, everybody. Welcome to our channel. This is Karen Willock, Director of the Family Program with Treehouse Recovery. I love talking about these different topics because they're all things that most of us have experienced. So today, the one we're going to talk about is offering unsolicited advice. So let's talk about what is unsolicited advice. And I don't think this is just with our addicts. Have you ever noticed that you are talking to a friend, you're talking about something that's going on, and before you've even ended your sentence, they have leaped in to give you the solution and to give you advice on what you should do? A couple of things aren't happening there. One is they're not really listening because they're forming their own, and I've been guilty of this plenty, forming their solution or their answer or their comment in their own mind. Now you get with your own kid, your own husband or wife, your adult child, okay, they're not children, they're adults now, and they're experiencing this or that, and you offer a solution. When I first made amends to my kids for the impact of my codependency on them, one of the things that all three of them talked to me about was my lecturing. And that was my unsolicited advice. I would go on and on and on and on. And unsolicited advice is really criticism, because I am criticizing the way you're doing it or not doing it. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. Think about watch it the next time with that gentle observer of yours. The next time somebody gives you advice when you didn't ask for it. When somebody gives you feedback or tells you what to do when all you were doing was talking. See how you feel. Other people feel the same way. And yet we are propelled into giving advice. And we do it for all the right reasons. We don't want to see our people suffer. We don't want to see them make a mistake. I don't know about you guys, but some of my mistakes were the very things that helped me become who I am. I don't know if something's a good thing or a bad thing until time passes. Then I know. You know, it's nothing till you call it. So, for instance, when Joe got into recovery for years, every time he would come to my mind, and this is a tool I use, I have something else that I'm going to think about instead of obsessing. So whenever he would come to my mind, I would ask the universe to place someone in front of him and behind him to guide him out. And I got where that was automatic. Joe, this. Joe, this. I would think, I wonder if he's okay. And my mind would say, put someone in front of him or behind him to guide him out. I've done that with all three of my boys at some time in their lives. And it was the Clackamas County Sheriff that guided him out. Now that looks bad, but it was good. He's been sober and clean ever since. It's been over 5 years now. So do you see what I'm saying? Is I was judging that as a bad situation. It felt like it when I got the text. By the way, there is an app you can get that lets you know if your kids have been arrested. I have that app. Many moms of addicts have that app. And it lets me know when they've been taken into custody. And when I saw that he had been taken into custody, I was actually down in California, down in Berkeley, and I felt my stomach drop, my breath stop. I felt like I was going to vomit. I was so sad and angry. But that led to something good. So what's my point? Sheesh, I get off on tangents every now and then. What we don't want to do is solve their problems and give advice unless they ask. And what does that look like? It means that I'm not going to launch into a lecture. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to give unwanted criticism. And to this day, I try to ask, I fail sometimes. Remember, I've said many times, there's no saints here. We're all working towards it to say, do you want my thoughts on that? And my kids have my full permission to say no. And if you're talking to a friend, would you like my thoughts? Would you like to hear what I have what I would do? You know, ask is a great thing to do instead of launching. So the first tool to use when I'm trying not to give unsolicited advice, and this is with your drug addict, alcoholic family member who looks like they need advice because their life is a mess and it's one crisis after another. So instead of doing that, what you do is actively listen. I'm sorry you're going through this. That must be really difficult. Wow, I am really sad about that. I hope it gets better. I know you'll figure this out. That has a whole different hit to it than what the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you do this? You need to get into treatment. You need to do this. You need to do that. Let me know when you're ready for help. That's very kind. It's very clear. You can ask some open-ended questions and encourage deeper exploration of feelings. You can use I statements when you I feel or I think instead of giving directions. Seek permission. This is a key one. Before offering advice, ask if they want your input. Would you like to hear my thoughts? Now, I will tell you, when I've said to one of my kids, I'm sorry that you're struggling, they say, that's not helpful. Well, whether it's helpful or not, I am still sorry that you're struggling. I don't have anything else. I can't fix you. Only you can fix you. I don't say that, but that's what I say in my brain. Acknowledge their feelings. When somebody's talking to you about feeling defeated or feeling lost or feeling afraid, you just want to validate. Of course you are. Of course you're feeling afraid. Of course you're sad. You're running with wolves, of course. Focus on support. Like I said, trying to offer emotional support rather than trying to fix. Like, yeah, I bet that's hard. I've watched you come through some pretty tough stuff. You've got this too. Reflect on your intentions. Understand why I want to give advice and recognize when listening is more helpful. Why do I want to launch? That's why I say unsolicited advice is criticism. As soon as I tell them what to do, I'm telling them they don't know what they're doing. I want to practice patience, develop empathy, set boundaries for myself. One of my boundaries, I don't answer the phone or respond to a text when I'm triggered. Recognizing my own triggers. I need to get myself in a neutral position. Sometimes that could be a couple of hours later. Maybe I need to take a walk. Maybe I need to do some working out. Maybe I need to distract myself. Giving them the dignity of their own choices, even if I don't agree. Autonomy is a big thing with our adult children. We have to let them be who they are. They get to do what turns their world on, not mine. They get to process and make decisions about where they're headed. They get to make their own decisions, and they live with the consequences of either, but it's not a good or bad thing. Provide unconditional support. This does not mean enabling. It means giving them the dignity of their own choices. Being supportive without fixing. When my kids come to me with a big thing, I'm talking to my people. I tell them, let me get back to you. If they make a reasonable recovery request, let me get back to you. I try not to make all these independent decisions on my own because I can help you make a decision, but I'm not helpful to me. So I can get lost in my own codependency. Focus on their needs or wants. Ask how you can support them. They may say, you can give me $50, and you may have to say no. Again, I use my people to help me determine what a recovery request I could do that's going to be helpful. Cultivating patience. None of us want to watch our kids suffer, our spouses suffer, our friends or our parents. None of us want to. So what we want to do is to be able to just listen. So this is what I would encourage you to do. Watch, notice what happens inside of you when you're hearing your child, adult child, your spouse, your partner, your friend, your parent talk about a problem. Notice what your motive is for wanting to fix it if they haven't asked. What is motivating me here? 9 times out of 10, I'm looking to relieve my own discomfort in listening to their problem instead of encouraging them to search for their own solution and allowing them to come to the end of themselves so that they can choose differently if they want. The other piece of this that we'll look at in another video is grief. There is so much grief around listening to your loved one have problem after problem after problem, or fail, or try to recover and fail, or so many of the failures that happen that they're experiencing. And the grief about things that happened that shouldn't have, and grief about things that did happen that never should have or should have happened that didn't. There's a lot of grief for family members of addiction. As a matter of fact, I really think it's almost a core part of codependency is the loss associated when someone has addiction. And we'll look at that in another video. So moving forward, I just want you to start noticing what happens when you want to give unsolicited advice without asking permission. So the boundary for yourself is I will only offer my thoughts, ideas, or opinions if I ask and they say yes. Otherwise, all you've got to do is listen and be kind. That's it. That's your job. Job over. So thanks for joining us today. Please hit that subscribe button because we're going to be putting up more videos and topics and ideas. Put in the comments things that you'd like to hear more about. We're interested in what you have to say. And if you need or want some help, the family program is available to people with folks in treatment or out of treatment, and our admissions department can be helpful if you would want. So thanks for your time and joining us today.